Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. And today we got... Hold on, wait, I'll turn that off. Sorry about that, I know it was a very abrupt move, but I had to go turn my light off. This is a video from Unpopular Notes. This is 50 most disturbing clips I found this month. We're gonna get right into this, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment, stick down below. Let's go.
There! What are you down there? Oh!
Oh my god!
Officer, please.
Quit! I'm done.
Daring officers save a life, Maryland, U.S. The heroics of officers Corey Field and Brian Nesbitt is the stuff of legend. While on patrol in Silver Spring, Maryland, they came upon a burning vehicle with the driver trapped inside. The driver was unconscious and unable to get himself to safety when these officers came upon the scene. Waiting for rescue to arrive on the scene would have meant death for the driver, and the officers knew this. Officer Fields rushed head-on and his partner followed suit. They broke the passenger side window and pulled the driver out. The fire was spreading fast as they got the driver out, and you can see one of them fall over as they pulled Israel to the back of the car, away from the fire. They didn't just stop there. They immediately began to administer first aid before the EMTs arrived on the scene.
Bravo police. These are the police type things that need to be talked about. These two police officers literally could have died along with this guy if they were not done this right. Yet they knew exactly how to do it. They knew exactly what to do, and they saved the guy's life by pretty much not thinking twice on it. No hesitation at all.
Few stories earned more headlines in September 2023 than the 13-day manhunt for Danilo Cavalcante. A Brazilian national convicted of killing his girlfriend, Cavalcante escaped from the Chester County prison on August 31st by shimmying between two walls. He then made his
Hold on.
Chester County prison on August 31st by shimmying between two walls.
Okay, listen. This is the fact this worked is it's insane, but this is also very impressive. This is actually very impressive. That was how he was able to get out of it. That's impressive.
He then made his way into the woods between Lancaster and Philadelphia, where he claims he hoped to steal a truck and get to either Canada or Puerto Rico. Despite an intense manhunt, Cavalcante managed to elude capture for nearly 2 weeks, eating watermelon and drinking from streams in the forest to sustain himself. In several instances, Cavalcante came very close to capture several times. He was captured on CCTV more than once and was fired upon by a homeowner after he stole a rifle from the man's garage. He even claimed a police officer nearly stepped on him while he was hiding. Finally, on the morning of September 13th, police stumbled upon the convict while he was sleeping, and a police dog was able to subdue him. Most incredible of all is the fact that Cavalcante escaped the same way and from the same place as a previous Chester County prison inmate.
Hold on, so this guy had escaped prison before, the same way, in this, like the going up the walls thing. You'd think they'd watch more carefully for that, since apparently that's a way people can't escape. You'd think they'd stop making it so that can't be the case, but apparently not.
Ugly stealing, Atlanta, U.S. If the last carjacking was sleek, this one's simply disturbing.
Oh, this one's, it's just this guy. Okay, this guy was just terrible at stealing. Yeah, he failed to steal so badly that shot at the car he was trying to steal, and yeah, this went terrible.
For how brazen it was. There was a cop car parked just across the street from the scene of this brazen crime. Everything you see was...
The fact this guy had the balls to try this whilst there was a police car right there is unbelievably stupid. Next level stupid.
It's captured by the dash cam of the police vehicle. The perpetrator, Andrew Williams, could be seen attempting to steal a white vehicle, but the owner drove off quickly. Andrew picked out his gun and fired some shots at the vehicle before taking off in the opposite direction. The sound of gunshots alerted the cops, who swung into action immediately. They chased Williams down and arrested him after he jumped over a fence and into a family's backyard. Williams dumped the gun and the officers couldn't find it. That notwithstanding, he was slammed with several charges including aggravated assault, possession of firearm, and hijacking a motor vehicle, among others.
Restaurant employee shoots at customer over... Wait, a restaurant employee shoots at customer?
Normally it's the customers that are hangry,
That's
but
what
this
I'm
Houston
saying.
Jack in the Box employee took things to a
You saw when I read it, I think I was like restaurant, because my brain thought it was the customer. Then I read it out loud and I was like, wait, restaurant employees mad at customer?
whole new level when an argument over curly fries turned into a dangerous shootout. The incident took place back in March 2021, but we didn't get the footage until now. It shows Anthony Ramos, his pregnant wife, and his 6-year-old daughter going to a Jack in the Box drive-thru where they were met by employee Alonia Ford. Upon receiving the food, Ramos pointed out that an order of curly fries was missing. After Ford declined to provide the fries, the two ended up arguing for nearly 10 minutes. It's at that point that Ford gets a gun from her back pocket and checks to see if it's loaded. Another employee comes to try and intervene, but Ramos and Ford instead start throwing things at one another. After the heated exchange, Ford opens the window and begins shooting as Ramos speeds away. Luckily, nobody was hurt. Though Ford...
Hold on. This is big. There was nothing this employee did that was in the right here. So, the man ordered curly fries. The woman, for no reason, declined to give him the stuff he ordered, which led to an argument where the customer was in the right. Then the woman, for no reason, the employee, for no reason, pulls a gun out of her back pocket. Why this employee has a gun at work is a whole different question. She then fires the gun at the customer. There is so much about this that's wrong, and the employee's the one 100% in the wrong, and the customer's fine.
Ford was arrested. She is now suing the Jack in the Box for what she claims was violations of her right to self-defense.
Oh yeah, that's gonna go real well for her. Yeah, you fired a gun at a boy. I bet you are totally gonna be in the right here, and for yeah. Oh yeah, you got a great chance of winning that case there. Jesus.
Drunken teacher, Oklahoma, U.S. Class teachers aren't just about imparting knowledge, they also act as a role model for the kids they teach. Kimberly Coates, an Oklahoma school teacher, showed up to class on the first day of elementary school, drunk. If you haven't seen a teacher being summoned to the principal's office just like those badly behaved kids, here you go.
So, just observing you in classroom, it looks like something's off a little bit. And so I've asked Officer Dean to come in here and visit with it. Have you taken anything that's, do you have a prescription for anything that maybe you have taken today that just seems like you're not the same person that I talked to this morning?
The management invited a cop to sit in as they questioned the teacher about what she may have taken. At first, she said she hadn't taken anything. Then she lied about having taken an anxiety medication.
So you haven't taken anything while you were at school?
No.
Have you taken any sort of medication today?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you taken any medication today?
I did take some medication this morning for my anxiety.
Is that a prescription? Because you changed your story a little bit. Now
You said it was
took-
last night.
Yeah.
Well, I took one last night and then I took one this morning because my anxiety was really, bad.
Here she finally admits to drinking, but she says it was last night and not while she was in school.
Did you drink something while you were here at school?
Not while I was at school.
When did you drink something?
Last night. I wouldn't bring it into the school.
Are you gonna blow double zeros?
I don't know.
You should know. If you hadn't drank anything, you should blow zeros. If you drank something recently, it's gonna show it.
A breathalyzer was administered to her and she nearly blew the pins off the thing with the alcohol in her system 2 times the legal limit.
Blow, 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 blow. Alright, You blew 2 times the legal limit.
I did.
Yeah.
That's a Diet Coke.
Is there anything liquor in it?
Nope.
I'm gonna tell you now. This is a bad example for what teachers think. No teacher. She should never be allowed to teach ever again. Because if her first day of school, teaching, and you's already drinking on the job, no. She needs to just stop.
So if I go into the classroom, am I going to find anything else?
This confirms that she'd had a large amount of alcohol in her system, and it couldn't have been residue from her drinking the night before. She drank something that morning.
You gonna tell me the truth?
Not some things, she drank a bunch of things. Listen, I've been getting into the vanilla alcohol the last few things, but I wouldn't blow the thing because I only take 2. Trust me, you have to have multiple drinks. I'm talking like 5 or more, I would say. Probably more than that. I get double the... No.
How much you had to drink?
It also doesn't help. It depends what she's drinking too, right? Like, there's some drinks that are more than others, but like, she'd be... Oh, God.
I drank last night.
There's no way you drank last night.
Well, I did drink last night.
A field sobriety test was administered as well, and it said the same. She was intoxicated.
You drank recently. Yeah, she's intoxicated.
I see.
They needed someone to pick her up, and she'd be arrested for a DUI if she got behind the wheels of a car.
Do you have anybody that's there that could come pick you up?
My husband's he's still at school working. I don't want you to call him.
Well, I can't let you leave. If you leave, you're going to get arrested.
Yeah, I'm gonna arrest you for DUI.
So I need somebody to come pick you up.
Kim.
Her options were limited. She might have been facing the termination of her employment or the more honorable route of resignation.
So what happens? So what happens then, Mr. Ogle?
Well, my recommendation to the board is going to be to terminate you because you're under the influence. Or you can resign.
These options were spelled out to her at the meeting. Facing these options, Coates opened up and said, "I drank on the way to work."
What?
We think that you drank today. Not 3 a.m. We think that you've drank since you've been at school. And I don't believe you're being honest with us.
Okay, I drank on the way to work.
Okay. I'm glad that you told us that. Okay. We'll still discuss tomorrow.
I went to work here. I went to work here.
The plastic container she'd used to take her drink was found and brought into the room. She remained adamant that the container only had juice in it and not alcohol.
Okay, no more games, right?
Yeah.
Other than that.
My juice?
After a good smell, the officer sniffed the cup and said, "Want to try again?"
Gonna try again?
In the end, due to all her lies, she was arrested.
I love that line. I really quiet the whole time. I love the line. No. You want to try again? I'm gonna let you try that one more time.
And taken to the station despite her pleas and tears.
Officer, please.
Quit! I'm done. I tried to be nice. I'm done.
Okay.
She was taken round the back to keep the kids from seeing their teacher paraded in handcuffs.
I mean, they're gonna know. Yeah, I guess they won't know because this is what, elementary school, so they won't know. But like, yeah, they're gonna wonder what happened to the teacher, because like, if only at the start of the day they're pulling her out, they're gonna have a new teacher randomly show up who's gonna take over, and it's gonna look out some questions.
Hey Spencer, if I write a ticket, can you run it back up there here in a little bit? You were doing?
Yeah,
Okay.
district.
Oh, you want me to do it district?
District.
Okay. Never mind, I'm gonna do it district.
When all else fails, New Jersey is always there to kick things up a notch. On September 20th, Joshua Hargreaves drove his gold Toyota SUV into a garage of a neighbor in an attempt to intimidate him.
5 o'clock, I got a call saying what happened to the garage door, and I was like, what do you mean? It was there when I left.
He next drove to the nearest police station in Independence Township and barreled directly into it, breaking down the wall and cheering while blasting GNR's Welcome to the Jungle. Hargreaves got out of his car and began reveling in the destruction. He hardly even blinked an eye when he was immediately.
I want to always think, because I watched Penguin Z0 Most Critical react to that, talk about this. The one thing he said, I give credit. I don't know how these officers reacted the way they did. I would have lost my mind if I heard a crash like that. I wouldn't have just walked out with the greatest of ease like nothing was wrong. I'd be like so scaredly confused. I'd have guns pointed and everything. No. These two deserve credit for their weirdness of just non-real reaction.
Immediately arrested and charged with terrorism, which carries a potential life sentence. Maybe someone can send him an iPod in prison?
So this was intentional?
Oh, absolutely, sure. He admits it's intentional. He wanted to do it. His intent, he states that his intent was not to hurt anyone, but he wanted to scare people.
The rescue of a kidnapped woman. Kentucky, U.S. When neighbors heard a woman screaming for help from the second floor of a building in Kentucky, local police responded immediately. What the officers found on scene will break your heart. On the scene, the police found the ground floor of the building completely barricaded.
We see a ladder.
Because all access to the homes was barricaded, the officers had to find a ladder to access the second floor through that window.
Is anybody else in there? He did what?
There, they found a young lady with a dog collar wrapped around her neck and chained to the floor. Her name is Jonna Wilson. She is 37 years old. She'd been in that position for over 5 hours before officers found and rescued her. Her boyfriend, Moises May, has been charged with...
Okay, let's be honest, Joy. If you were to tell me, if you show me a picture, girls, do you believe this man kidnapped a woman? I'd be like 100%. 100%. This man has the look of a crazy man. This guy looks crazy AF. Like, that is nutcaseness.
With kidnapping, assault, and other things.
Kenyan woman scales razor wire fence after killing hospital drug. Alrighty.
Halfway around the world in Nairobi, Kenya, police recently identified a teenage girl who they say stabbed a hospital director 25 times on September 15th. The suspect has been identified as Anne Adiambo, aged 15 to 16, and she's currently on the run. Adiambo can be seen on CCYT trying to climb over a wall covered in razor wire before attempting to escape the victim's front yard. At one point, another woman comes up to engage her, and several neighbors look on as Adiambo again tries to get over the razor wire, this time succeeding. Police hope that the young lady could be easily identified by her distinct clothes, but these were later found abandoned in a wooden shack in nearby Bombolulu village. As of this time, she has not yet been apprehended in the gruesome murder.
Why did she kill him? Do you know why she chose to kill this random individual? You also want to explain to me if this is his front yard the way he's... You want to explain to me why the woman let her leave? If I saw a woman ran me on someone's lawn, I knew they ain't leaving. And they're trying to climb over a razor fence. Oh no, they ain't leaving.
The Knife Wielder, London, UK. As a busy Victorian line service pulled out of a Brixton station in July, 2 teenagers got into a very dangerous knife fight. Look closely at the man on the screen. In his hand is a scary hunting knife with which he stabbed a young man of 16. Watch as he runs to escape the scene of his crime. The boy on the screen with the scary knife is 19-year-old Amarjay Nyikmayang, who stabbed a boy in the side moments before this video was captured. As Amarjay ran, terrified passengers scampered for their lives, making sure to get out of his way as he and his friends ran through the coaches. He was later arrested at Stockwell Station and has since been sentenced to serve a jail term of over 6 years.
Argument in California leads to police intervention.
Jealousy can cause a lot of problems, not just in a relationship, but for the police as well. That was the case when Los Angeles police showed up to a domestic disturbance to find 42-year-old Jose Cuellar using a knife to cut up the bed he shares with his girlfriend.
I don't know, I think my boyfriend's having like a mental breakdown and he does have a knife.
He explains to police that another man had been calling her, and while he hasn't actually attacked the young woman, he has threatened to kill someone over the incident.
Hey, vamos a hablar, ¿ok? Mira. Ok, vamos a hablar. Vamos a hablar. Ok. ¿Quién más está adentro? Ok.
No, te estoy diciendo que yo
estoy... ¿Cómo te puedo ayudar?
Okay. Fortunately, the woman had avoided any potential violence from her enraged beau by barricading herself in a closet and calling 911.
You don't know what caused this, right? No, I was sleeping. We had some. I was making food. I woke up, made some margaritas. We were just drinking, chilling, and then I don't know. He just started exploding.
Okay. And you're hiding in the closet?
Yeah, I came to the closet. Because he threw beers, he threw everything on the floor, and then he had a knife, and then he cut the bed.
Okay.
This man seems crazy. I'm sorry, my man seems crazy. My man needs to be taken away. We clearly need some mental... listen, jealousy can do some things, but jealousy shouldn't make you almost kill a person. Shouldn't make a woman have... no jealousy should make a woman have to run and hide from you.
You never seen him like this, right?
Never.
Okay, don't hang up.
The police entered the apartment with their guns drawn, but the man refused to comply. Fortunately, they were able to bring in a Spanish-speaking police officer to help defuse the situation.
Si no me rescato, vamos a arrestar. Ok, ponte al piso. Ponte al piso. No te queremos matar. No te queremos matar.
In the end, Cuellar was determined to be having a mental health emergency and was apprehended without incident.
The creepiest predator, Burbank, US. Michelle Witter, a TikTok influencer who took a trip to a Barnes & Noble bookstore in Burbank as part of her...
Oh, I've seen this. This is a weird fucking dude. This dude is the weirdest dude you'll find. If I saw this dude, I'd drop kick him in the face. I said it the first time I heard it. If I saw this dude in real life, I would drop kick him straight in the face.
Commitment to her TikTok show, Solo Dates, where she attempts to show her followers some solo activities to take on when they might be feeling lonely. Things didn't go as she'd hoped. Instead, it went completely awry as she felt stalked and violated at the end of her solo date. Immediately as she arrived, a man started following her wherever she went. It got really weird when the man hunched down and slid close to her, almost sniffing her in the process.
I'm telling you, I'd drop kick him right in the side of the head. Just right in the side of the head, I don't know. She wouldn't even know. I'd be seeing the man do, I'd just drop kick him. She'd turn around and I'd be like, listen, he was weirdo. Weirdo, I had to get drop kicked. Listen, I had to do it, I'm sorry. I know it was weird, I know it felt threatening, but I had to do it. I couldn't let him I had to drop kick him, I had to.
Here's a better look at the stalker who didn't just do this weird dance with Michelle, but with another customer at the bookstore. When she confronted her stalker while he was crouched and asked, "What are you doing?" his response was, "Tying my shoes. What are you doing?"
You immediately said, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And his reaction was?
He said, "Tying my shoe. What are you doing?" Which he wasn't. I mean, he was pretending to. His shoes were tied.
It's always nice when a good Samaritan intervenes in a potentially dangerous situation. That's just what happened on Piedmont Avenue in Oakland, California, when a man returning to his car was accosted by two men in sweatshirts and hoods. Footage from nearby CCTV cameras shows that the men are armed. So when the victim backs away, they simply take his keys right out of his hands. However, as they return to steal his car, two men intervene and begin bashing the suspect's own vehicle with bats. The two men, who worked at a karate school across the street, were able to scare the would-be carjackers enough that they dropped the keys and fled without their prize.
I thought they were gonna sing, no, they got some weapons and just went to fuck your car. Screw your car, you ain't living with a good car. Just freaking drove up. Yeah, they weren't gonna mess with that. Them two guys, he whooped the
Death in the house. Pennsylvania, US. Looking at the aftermath, your first question would be what happened here? And while there are
I remember this one. I know what this is.
answers, so far there are more questions than those. Listen to the troubling sound. The fire going high into the atmosphere and the effect that the explosion has on the houses in the neighborhood as debris began to fly and doors are shaken at their hinges. That loud bang was heard all over Plum, Pennsylvania, and had people wondering what had gone wrong. The home where the explosion took place wasn't the only one affected. 3 houses down the street were leveled and many more houses may have to have been destroyed due to structural damage caused by the explosion. A father and son were killed in their home across the street by the explosion, and their smiles, which neighbors and relatives speak of, is silenced forever. The death toll is currently 5 people, including the father and the son. Firefighters heard bullets exploding in the wreckage, but that wasn't the cause of the explosion. Many of the homes in the affected street are built over an abandoned mine, where there is an active gas well not so far away. The question now is, why was this allowed to happen? Residents in the neighborhood also wonder if other houses in the area are in danger of the same.
I'd be concerned with that too, in all honesty. I'd be moving out, like, I ain't living here. I'm going to stay somewhere else until you fix this issue, because I'm not living in a house that could explode at any minute.
Shocking footage from a Ring camera shows a 19-year-old Oregon man harassing his African-American neighbors in the worst way imaginable. The young woman and her mom, who live below the suspect, claim he has been struggling with his mental health and has been lobbing abuse through the door for months.
Literally at my door with a knife, calling me racial slurs, telling me he was going to murder me. And the fact that they did nothing, I honestly didn't know how to react.
The man, identified as Dominic Austin, can be seen carrying a knife and whispering things like, "You're about to get murdered," making rape threats and hurling racial slurs while the women cower in fear.
I'm about to get murdered.
To make matters worse, the apartment complex refused to take any real action.
And when they came out to the property, they pretty much got an overview of what transpired. They reviewed videos, they spoke to the tenant, and pretty much that was the end of everything.
The mother and daughter have since set up a GoFundMe.
See, every video so far, we had a video at the beginning which showed good things of police, and now we have an example of police. This is the first time in this video that I've been annoyed at the police for what they do. Why would you see a man trying to break in a door with a knife, screaming you're about to be murdered, and go, I don't see the crime here. Don't see what you want me to do here. Like, how, you can't be that stupid, right? Like, how do you see that and go, okay, well, we'll go over to him, this crazed mental mayor, we're just like, hey, would you mind not murdering these two? Thank you. And then we did our part. See, what do you want us to do? Actually arrest him for doing that? What do you think we're doing here? What do you think we're on the police or something? What the hell's wrong with you?
GoFundMe to help with moving expenses. But as of now, Austin has not been arrested.
My man about to get busy. See, because I'm telling you, this is one of them situations where that thing, the law, if you don't the law don't handle it, someone else will. And when someone else handles it, it's gonna end up worse for everyone, because it's gonna be their only way out, and the police are not gonna do any, and it's gonna be police have to get involved for the wrong reasons.
Officer-involved shooting, Colorado, US. On the 25th of July, a patrol officer named Nick Adams makes what should have been a harmless traffic stop, but nothing will go the way he expected on this day. The officer had noticed an SUV parked along the road facing the wrong direction. He approached and tried to engage the woman, but she refused to engage the policeman and wouldn't roll down her window. The lady is Alicia Durant, and when she finally agrees to put down her window, she still refused to answer any of Officer Adams' questions.
You're in the wrong lane. Are you okay? Are you okay, man? What's going on? Tell me what's going on. Are you okay?
He asked several questions to ascertain what her problem was, but she wouldn't say a word.
Can you tell me what's going on? Why are you in the wrong lane? Can you tell me why you're in the wrong lane?
He had to radio his supervisor, explaining the situation.
Female that won't answer any questions. I think I'm in our turn lane to go into the shops if you want to start one of them.
This was the situation for a while. The officer was concerned and asked if she's okay or if she'd been drinking.
Have you been drinking or anything? It doesn't look like you've been drinking.
Everything changed the moment Durant reached for something in her middle console. You can see Officer Adams ask, "What have you got there?" His voice becomes agitated the moment he notices that the woman had a gun in the car. He grabs her hand, then rushes off to the back of the car, pointing his gun and firing off a shot at her.
What do you got in there? What do you got in there, man? What do you got in there? What do you got in there? Oh!
Officer Adams puts out a shots fired call on the radio and calls for backup.
225, shots fired, shots fired.
By the time the backup arrives on the scene,
I bet the guy who was being originally stopped is in a fucking terrified. Who knows what he was getting stopped for, but if I was getting stopped and then someone pulled up thing and I almost didn't shots go off, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. This is how I die. I haven't even done anything and I'm oh god.
Durant is no longer breathing. A Jeep parked nearby had caught one of the bullets from Officer Adams' gun. He walks over to make sure the occupants are okay. It's only luck that his bullet hit the windshield alone but didn't touch anyone in the car. Officer Adams is deeply shaken by this event and can be heard crying and apologizing. The smash and grab.
There's the thing, there was a lot of officers who go their entire careers without ever shooting someone. And they'd rather not. There's a lot of officers who never use their weapon and would rather not use their weapon. That's why he probably was hoping he was one that he hoped he never had to use it. When he did, he felt deeply emotional by the fact that he could not have, there wasn't another way out. He couldn't have, just figured out what was wrong with the woman, because he kept asking. But he couldn't just not shoot when she pulled out a gun on him. It was...
Florida, U.S. CCTV camera caught a thief breaking into a car and grabbing an envelope before slithering off into the shadows from which he'd emerged. The thief is quick, breaking in and picking out the envelope from the glove compartment all in the span of 30 seconds. What do you think he'll find in it? The owner of the car had just taken out $14,000 in cash from a nearby bank, and that envelope the thief just made off with has all of it inside.
That guy used like a punch device to use in the corner of the car, and then all the glass shattered and then broke everything. I saw a guy by the ATM machine, and then I went to my car, and then I pulled the money, I was carrying my hand, in the glove compartment.
This suggests that the victim was targeted specifically. Watch the thief slink away in his car, a Land Rover which he backs out to avoid cameras capturing his tag number.
In Hawaii, police officers investigating a domestic argument between two brothers encountered a man who they claim shot indiscriminately at them after fleeing from his home. Body cam footage shows the officers arriving at a small gate, which they had to climb over in order to reach the grounds. The officers then made their way toward the home, where they take cover and call out to the suspect.
Move the cover. Move the cover and call out, or what do you want to do? We got you surrounded!
Because they have reasons to suspect the man is armed, they draw their guns just in time to see him run out of the back door and into the woods.
Running.
He's coming towards the back.
Within moments, the officers hear shots in their direction.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
They continued pursuing the suspect and eventually located him in the thick rainforest.
Put your hands up! Hands up! He's got his gun! He's still got the gun!
Unfortunately, the man refused to drop his weapon, resulting in an exchange of gunfire and the suspect's death.
See your hands!
Look, you might have been hit. Tekashi needs to lie down.
I think I hit him.
Third watch unit hitting 27th Avenue.
So was this one of the brothers, or is this just a random guy who just started shooting? I missed part of this. Sorry, I saw it was like they had a domestic thing between two brothers, but I didn't figure out if this was part of the thing or this just some random dude who was shooting at him.
The scary magic of tornadoes. Rhode Island, US. Tornadoes are as scary as they can be magical, the gathering of whirlwinds reaching from the ground to connect with the clouds then traveling, tearing everything on its path. Houses, trees, cars, and just about everything else. This Tesla driver captures a magical moment when the tornado was both beautiful and terrifying in all of its element. It was captured as the twister flipped and twirled onto the other side of the road. While it looked like a pretty sight, the driver of the vehicle confessed that he could feel his car come slightly off the ground, and worse still, he saw another car lifted off the ground by the same dainty-looking wind.
I just see like this tree branch suspended like 50 feet in the air. I was like, oh, that's really out of place.
It was only the beginning of what was going to be a very scary day. Eyewitnesses say the tornado picked up another vehicle, spun it around in the air before dropping it back down to the earth.
Picked up, and they said 200 plus feet, like it tossed her around.
And it picked her car up and it spun her around like that. And then it just dropped it back down.
Here's the car the tornado had tossed a few hundred feet. The damage is extensive, but no life was lost. Carjacking, Markham, UK. This might well be the sleekest carjacking in the history of...
I'm sorry, listen, I'm a man. All criminals deserve to be arrested, but I will show respect to a criminal who was able to do things so, in my opinion, impressively. This is the slickest, most easiest carjacking I have ever seen, and I give full credit and respect to the criminals here for doing this with such ease. So little thing that you couldn't even make a save if you wanted to.
Of carjacking. It was 12:30 a.m. on the 23rd of August when a dark-colored vehicle lightly hit a gray Mercedes-AMG sedan. The driver of the Mercedes stepped out of his vehicle to inspect possible damage, but was instead confronted by two men, both in ski masks with one of them wielding a baton. They led him to the side, took his keys, and drove off with his car, leaving him confused and dejected. Police believe this to be the same carjackers who have stolen two other cars within the last week using the same tactic. It's scary how easy they had it, and worse still, their victim could be anyone. The case of Drew Barrymore, New York, US. The American actress Drew Barrymore had to be escorted quickly off the stage while speaking at an event in New York. She was on stage having a conversation with singer Renee Rapp when a man from the audience rudely interrupted. He said, "I'm Chad Michael Busto. You know who I am. I need to see you at some point while I'm here in New York."
Chad Michael Busto, you know who I am. I need to see you at some point while I'm here in New York City.
You can see the fear on Barrymore's face. She was visibly terrified. Renee Rapp reacted quicker than the security. She was up on her feet immediately, leading Barrymore off the stage as security swung into action. They restarted the event when tension was cleared off the air. Drew Barrymore was soon joking about how protective Renee Rapp got.
I have a new definition of your sexiness. It's that level of protectiveness that went full bodyguard.
Alabama band director tased by police following football game. Okay.
An Alabama high school band director was tased by police after an unfortunate altercation involving a post-game performance. Johnny Sims and the director of the Jackson Olin High School band apparently agreed to perform some additional music after the game, but authorities were more preoccupied with cleaning the stadium. Body cam footage shows officers approaching Sims, who tells them to get out of his face while continuing to direct the band. The officers tell him to make the band stop, but Sims repeatedly says it's his last song. Despite multiple people urging him to stop and the field lights going out, Sims continues to conduct his high school students. Shortly after, a struggle breaks out and Sims...
This is unnecessary. This was an unnecessary This man could have just stopped. Everyone told him to stop. These students would not have been mad if they were told, hey, it's either we stop or we get arrested. Trust me, the students will be more happier than angry. This guy escalated this for no reason.
He is eventually tased in front of his band. Though he was charged with disorderly conduct, harassment, and resisting arrest, Sims maintains the incident.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I'm fine. He was going to cause this. How exactly did he get charged with harassment? Who was he harassing? The police officers who came up to him? I don't get this one. This one I actually don't get.
Should have been solved differently.
Theft in the car, Houston, US. The video shows more than just an attempted robbery. It also shows how patient crooks can be in the pursuit of their evil agenda. The victim, Cameron, had gone to the Chase Bank on West Road when the thieves began to follow him. This is the first time we catch a glimpse of them on the dash cam as they tailed him patiently. They followed him through multiple locations until they found the perfect spot to strike. Cameron had parked and left his car when they broke in through the window and quickly searched the vehicle. It's obvious that they were looking for something specific, as they didn't just grab anything in sight when he searched inside quickly for the bank pouch of the Chase Bank. It felt wonderful to watch this thief find the pouch that he was after, only to discover that it was empty. Watch the disappointment on his face as he comes up short on this one.
What?
A young boy in Mexico City was just settling down for his birthday party dinner when a hungry black bear leaped onto the picnic table and began eating the feast of tacos and enchiladas. The young boy...
I love the bears are like, bear talking trash. The bear would totally be talking trash. You're like, how you think you're gonna eat? This is my boo. This is my birthday. It's my birthday.
Santiago Macias has Down syndrome and watched it.
He looked at the guy and went, I'm sorry. This is terrible for this kid. But the fact the bear went on right close to him and just started eating this, I'm sorry, it just made me laugh.
In horror as the bear ate his much anticipated meal. Fortunately, his mother was there to protect him from the bear, though it seemed mostly interested in the food. In the end, nobody was hurt, but the family probably won't be eager to go picnicking there anytime soon.
Arresting Tekashi 6'9".
I'm gonna be straight honest. If I was that kid, that bear would have scared the shit out of me. I wouldn't be able. I'd been running for my life. I'd be killed. I'd be killed by the bear because I would scare and make it think it wants to attack me. Because I'd be running for my goddamn life. It would just be instinct taking over and be like, oh my god, I'm fucking. Especially if I'm about to eat food, a bear just leaps up. Fuck yeah, I'm gone. I'm fucking gone. It would. No.
Florida, US. Daniel Hernandez, also known as Tekashi 6'9", was being arrested by Palm Beach County deputies because he missed a court date for a speeding ticket in Florida. He'd done 135 miles in a 65-mile-per-hour zone, and missing that court date meant an active warrant for his arrest was issued. The sheriff deputies had seen an SUV without license plates and stopped the car for the traffic infraction, but when they ran the information Tekashi provided, they found more than just a traffic infraction.
License plate?
Registration.
Okay, but take this license plate.
Just give me the registration insurance.
Okay. Vehicle registration. No, the insurance should be here.
Do you have your license on you or no?
I said no like 3 times.
Here's the moment the deputy asked Tekashi to step out of the car.
Step out of the car for me, sir.
He's immediately handcuffed. They explained the reason for his arrest as the cuffs are placed on him.
Warrant for what?
Unlock your fingers. Spread your legs for me. Got a traffic warrant.
So you taking me to jail for a traffic warrant?
Yes, sir.
You're up here, bro. You didn't show up before.
I didn't know that. When? For what, though?
I guess you received a ticket or something that you didn't pay?
I never received a ticket.
Step forward for me.
Here's the moment huge wads of cash are removed from his pocket.
You want to give it to me?
Yeah, Yo, give that to Yailin. Just take it back home. Okay. Yo, tell my brother, where am I going?
Tekashi couldn't believe he was arrested for something this minor. He'd had an interesting conversation about it all with the cops as they rode to the station. Death is around the corner. Wigan, UK. The man lurking in the shadows wearing a hooded top is Michael Hillier, a drug dealer and disgruntled boyfriend. His partner, Rachel Fulstow, alleged that 38-year-old Liam Smith had raped her years ago after a Tinder date, and he'd become enraged and deeply motivated to retaliate against Smith. The camera clips you see were captured as he loitered around Liam's home. For 10 hours he was out there, in his car or lurking in the corners of the street, waiting until Liam Smith stepped out of his home. He shot Smith, then poured sulfuric acid on him while claiming to be carrying out vigilante justice. The 39-year-old Hillier and his girlfriend Rachel have been sentenced to life in prison for the murder.
I forget, I was about to say, why was the girlfriend, and I was like, oh, my guess is he never even talked to her, like, they've never talked, like, she just probably did something, or he said no, maybe rejected her, something like that, and she got all pissy, and she decided she was going to get him killed. And she knew her boyfriend would be so easily manipulated or jealous, would get easily so jealous, that she just needed to slightly mention it, and he'd go enraged and do the job.
Police in Riverview, Florida had a tense standoff with a 14-year-old boy accused of shooting his mother to death and critically wounding her boyfriend. When police arrived at the scene, they found the young man holding a weapon and pointing it at his own head, threatening to shoot himself.
You don't want to end it this way. You don't want to end it this way, brother. I promise you. Whatever happened today, it can be fixed.
They then immediately begin de-escalating the situation by talking to the young man in calm, steady tones.
Keep walking toward me. Hadim, come on, buddy. Don't retreat. Come back this way. Come toward me, man. Come toward me. My gun is only out because I don't know what you're going to do. When you get to over here, I'm going to have you, listen to me. I'm going to have you lay down on the ground, and my gun is going in my holster. I promise you.
Fortunately, after much convincing, they managed to get the young man to comply.
You made such a good choice putting it down, bro. Just leave it on the ground, Hadim.
He drops the gun and slowly obeys the officer's commands to walk forward and lie down on the grass.
Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Keep coming toward me. Keep coming toward me. The pavement's gonna be hot. What I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you lay down on the grass. Lay down on the grass.
The officer even commends him on making the choice to drop the weapon and allow himself to be arrested.
All right. Hey, I was all the way down. Have we exfilled from that house?
Knife man on rampage. Songnam, South Korea.
I would like to give that officer credit for de-escalating that situation. They deserve my respect for that. He deserves my respect for de-escalating that situation.
A man who we can only describe as deeply disturbed has perpetrated one of the most disturbing crimes of the year. In early August, the young man in his 20s rammed his car into a sidewalk with people on it. He didn't pause or attempt to run afterwards. He simply jumped out of the car brandishing a knife. Like clockwork, his hand went up, down, as he stabbed people with the knife. About 9 people suffered knife cuts from the stabbing, while 4 others suffered injuries from the impact of his vehicle, which he rammed into the sidewalk. Worst robbery of the year, Atlanta, US. This has to be the worst attempt at a robbery ever captured on camera. The robber walked in, brandishing what should have been a gun hidden in a plastic bag, but everyone seemed to understand his game.
Everybody get down! Give me all your money! Get the pockets! Give me all your money!
This is the greatest no sell I've ever seen. I have never seen so many people no sell a situation, not reacted. She looked at him like like you ain't trying this. Watch this again.
Get the pockets!
She looked at him like, you ain't trying this on me, are you? You really ain't trying this on me. This was the worst robbery attempt I've ever seen. I have never seen listen, I have seen some terrible things people do for robbers. But I have never seen 4 people no-sell a robbery. I have never seen people no-sell a robbery, like not even phased, not even blink an eye. This is hilarious. Look at this. He's not moving.
Where's the money?
Only one woman appeared to think anything of the incident and stepped out while he yelled.
Everybody give me everything! Where's the money?
This is fucking embarrassing. This is embarrassing. If I was him, I'd never even attempt a crime again. I would be even too disparaged from this to even just attempt to jaywalk. Like, this is the worst crime. This is the worst attempt at crime I've ever seen.
It's almost laughable how no one showed a modicum of fear as he yelled and pranced about with his hand hidden inside the paper bag as a gun. He walked away after a while, looking dejected.
This is the single worst criminal I've ever seen. This man deserves to be put in a hall of fame of bad criminals. That was the best thing I've ever seen. Oh my God.
In early September, police in Bracknell, Ohio came upon a man driving very suspiciously. From what the officers could tell, it seemed the man was taunting them to chase him. However, the incident did not end the way he wanted, pinned between two Bracknell police cars. It all started when police noticed a man in a BMW slowing down near them and then speeding off when the lights were turned on. As the chase ensues, multiple
I'm skipping the thingy because I heard music and I don't know what the music is and I don't want copyright.
cars join the pursuit, only to see the driver, later identified as 20-year-old Joseph Byron Littlejohn, doing donuts, making U-turns, and even dancing his car.
The vehicle is pulling a U-turn. No correction. He's just doing donuts on the intersection of Eddy Road and St. Clair.
Littlejohn managed to evade the police for some time, but eventually, after being cornered, he backs up into a waiting trooper's car while another plows into him from the front. Though he tries to
Smart move. Real smart guy this was.
run, he is quickly apprehended.
Cash, you alright? You alright? Come here, bud. Come here. Pocket. Come here. Cash. Pocket. Come here, pocket. Cash, pocket. Pocket, cash, pocket. Ready to roll? Out of your mind. Keep him there.
The police later determined that the car was stolen, but Littlejohn had no excuse for his escapade.
Nope, not at all.
Fire in stolen car, Wisconsin, U.S. On August 18, police chases a Kia vehicle suspected to have been stolen by teens driving it. The driver's a 14-year-old, while the two passengers were all just 15 years old.
Lining up, it's going northbound.
This one makes me so annoyed. Because what made these kids feel they need to steal a car? What made these kids think they were gonna get away with stealing the car? Like, you're all young and you're throwing lives away, and good lives you could have, just for what? Want to be tough thugs? Like, I don't get it.
In pursuit, east on Orchard.
Things became more disturbing as the chase went on. At one time, the Kia nearly hit another car, and you could hear the worried voice of an officer as he watched the sight unfolding.
Then it goes south on 60. Miss Alice in pursuit of a stolen red Kia. South on 60.
A few times, the police almost ran into oncoming traffic at intersections.
Coming up to Lincoln here, it's passing on the left. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Get here. Get there.
The Kia is beginning to smoke at this point, and the officer mentions it a few times as he relays information through his police radio.
Going through a construction zone here on the Kinnikinnick, east on Kinnikinnick.
The fire is pretty obvious under the Kia now, but the driver's still going, but not for long. The teenagers are soon forced to stop due to the fire. As they try to run off on foot, the police arrest them all.
Lots of flames underneath the vehicle.
Yeah, all of them were arrested. I've seen the clip of all of them. They are, yeah.
Classes were canceled at Shoreline Elementary the day after a high-speed chase ended with a suspect crashing into the building. Toledo police said that 26-year-old Ryan Hasselbeck fled from them after he failed to pull over for a routine traffic stop. Police say that the chase had at times exceeded speeds of 100 miles per hour, but ended just as quickly when he crashed into the school. Perhaps even more impressive was that Hasselbeck was not done yet. In fact, footage from the police car shows the 26-year-old, who suffered minor injuries, attempting to escape even after he's handcuffed and arrested. He first appears to be trying to slide the handcuffs over his legs, but fails several times. Finally, he takes his shoes off, which makes it easier for him to alter his position. Upon finally getting his hands back in front of him, he reaches for the door and attempts to make an escape. At this point, an officer comes to ask him more questions, not noticing that his shoes are off and his cuffs are no longer behind him. Fortunately, his attempts to open the door prove useless, and he's left speeding towards what is sure to be at least several months in the county jail.
Well, that failed, didn't it? Your escape failed, didn't it, boy? Still end up in jail.
CBD explosion, Johannesburg, South Africa. Here's the moment a CBD explosion left a gaping hole in the middle.
I always forget this one, and I forget it for the fact of look how close this one man becomes to death.
Johannesburg, South Africa. Here's the
Look at this guy, right here. This guy tastes his death. This guy looked death in the eye, and it decided, not today.
moment a CBD explosion.
Boom! Look!
And left a gaping.
Look how close that is. 1 second more. He would have been the second person killed.
Hole in the middle of the road and sent people scampering for safety. Cars are practically thrown into the air like they were Tic Tacs as the explosion rocked the busy street. People panicked and ran for dear life while vehicles lay unnaturally on their backs or sides from the explosion, which literally pulled the asphalt out from under them. Watch the man in the red hoodie quickly close up his business as he ran for safety. One person died while several others were injured in an explosion whose cause is yet to be fully ascertained. Rideshare driver mugged, Houston, US. The driver of this vehicle had just dropped someone off in southwest Houston when several armed men approached and asked him to hand over any cash on his person. They didn't stop there. They went into the car rummaging for anything of value. From the glove compartment to the trunk, they made away with valuables that include the driver's wallet. Watch closely to see the 6 men, all of whom are wearing dark clothing. They took off on foot.
I swear I hate when they say this, because this is...
Watch close.
These are the same guy, these two are the same guy, this is the same guy. These are not 6 different individuals. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the same human beings. And these two, this is the same human being. You're showing me 6 pictures, yet it's just 2 criminals I'm seeing. I don't get this at all.
Closely to see the 6 men.
It's not 6 men, these are... these are 6 different individuals. They are 4, they're all twins. These are just 2 people you're showing me.
All of whom are wearing dark clothing. They took off on foot afterwards, and police are yet to learn the identities of these men.
In much more positive news, a 12-year-old boy in Florida managed to save a man from drowning using CPR, which he claimed to have learned from watching the hit Netflix TV show Stranger Things. Austin McMillan and his behavioral therapist, Jason Piquette, are swimming in a pool when the other man decided to see how long he could hold his breath.
It's like 6 to 5 minutes he was underwater, and I was like, that's way too long, he cannot do that.
I think I passed out in about 30 seconds, and I don't know why.
However, Piquette claims he lost consciousness just a few seconds into the stunt. However, Austin soon realized something was wrong and sprang into action, pulling Piquette from the depths and to the side of the pool. He then rushed out to the front of the house and screamed for help before performing CPR on Piquette, who eventually regained consciousness thanks to the boy's quick thinking.
I'm just so amazed at how strong he was and how wise he was in that moment. And I always want him to know that he is a hero.
Yeah, well, respect to that kid. Give that kid a freaking round of applause for being able to do that. Most kids would not think they'd panic in this situation.
Wild bison and tourist, Wyoming, US. In June, a tourist at the Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming.
This is my thing. This is one way to learn. Listen, don't try to get near a bison. Leave their bisons alone. They don't want to be nowhere near you.
Had one moment that could have been catastrophic. She'd had her hand stretched like she wanted to pet the bison when the wild animal suddenly reacted, turning and aiming to hit the gore her with its horns. The woman turned and ran quickly, putting distance between herself and the menacing animal. She tripped while running, but thankfully the animal wasn't interested in further action.
No, the bison just wanted to leave her alone.
Here's another tourist coming dangerously close to a bison at the park. To put it in perspective, these heavily built creatures can weigh up to 2,000 pounds and run 35 miles an hour. To be safe, you must always stay 75 feet away from bisons for safety.
I'm nothing but, if I ever went to Yellowstone, I'm gonna respect that bison, and I don't want that bison to have any issue with me. If that bison can have that, I don't want anything to do. It can own the property. It can look at me and I'm gonna be like, you a bison, I'm gonna leave you alone. This is your turf, not mine.
Flash mob at Riverside, California, US. This is a July 10th security video from the Nordstrom store in Riverside, California. It all looks pretty harmless at first. It's only shoppers coming into a Nordstrom store to make their usual purchases, but that's hardly true this day. What might have appeared harmless at first suddenly devolves into something far more disturbing. These seemingly harmless people begin to steal products from the store. Not one, not two, but a whole flash mob, simply picking valuables off the rack as quickly as they could. They had specific targets, designer handbags, and you can see each person grabbing as much as possible. The goods carted away from the store amounts to several $1,000s. Wash their hands as they leave the place. The Flying Car, St. Louis, Missouri, U.S.
Oh, this is one of those ones that shocked me to the core the first time I saw. This is when the guy goes flying.
This is one of the scariest
The car's flying in the air. Flying.
moments of the year.
Look at that.
A car flying through the air is a rare sight. No, that's not the alien ship arriving to colonize Earth, and it isn't a new innovation in technology. It's a reckless driver going over 100 miles per hour. He lost control and went flying into the air. He clipped the stairs of one house then slammed through the front of another before landing on a hedge. This terrifying moment was captured on the doorbell camera of a nearby home. Thinking of the danger this accident posed.
I'm sorry. I'm so glad this got caught on film, though. This is insanity.
For the family living in those homes makes the heart race. But fortunately, no one else was hurt in the crash except the driver.
Thank God. What?
Let's end our most disturbing moments from September 2023 with an incredible tale from Oneida, New York. That's where a 17-year-old boy driving a stolen car crashed into a home, causing a gas leak that ended with the home exploding into a raging fireball. Just 2 hours before, the teen had apparently become so intoxicated that his girlfriend called the police to have him removed from her yard. The police arrived to find the boy so drunk he could not identify himself. In order to comply with protocol, the officers had to take him directly to the hospital. Unfortunately, he was released. After which, he stole a 2012.
How was he released while drunk? How was he released? Did he just say, I want to go? And they're like, well, sounds good reason for me. Sure, go ahead, go leave. Like, how was he released at all? How?
RAV4 and crashed into a home on West Elm Street, severing a gas line. Footage shows the moment the home exploded, knocking police and other first responders to the ground. It wasn't until the next day, however, that the real extent of the footage can be seen. According to officers, the suspect was still so inebriated after the crash that he had no idea why he was being arrested.
Fast and Furious.
That is insane. To think that someone could be so intoxicated that after a house explodes because of him, he still doesn't know why he's being arrested. Like, that is insane.
Kid Edition, Chicago, US. In August, police chased a 17-year-old in a stolen car. For 18 whole minutes, they chased the teenage boy as he tried to escape doing speeds of about 132 miles per hour.
It's right lane approaching Higgins. Speeds 130, light traffic.
He almost managed to escape as the cops had to stop at one point to ask if anyone knew where the car went.
Where'd that car go?
All right, I'm going to light it up and get into the area.
Down that way? Okay. Hey, Victor 1, he said he took a left turn. He went south by the tracks here.
Doing speeds like that means one thing. A crash is coming. And when it did, the young thief jumped out and tried to get away on foot. The cops caught him and now he's being charged with multiple felonies and misdemeanors. robbing a dispensary, Michigan, US. This robbery occurred at the Sherwood Dispensary in Warren, Michigan. The three robbers arrived on scene and set off a car alarm which
I will still always say
occurred at the Sherwood Dispensary in Warren, Michigan. The three robbers.
This mugshot disturbs me. His smile is disturbing to me.
Robbers arrived on scene and set off a car alarm which forced the security guard on scene to open the door, eager to see what the issue was. When he got sight of the hooded man hiding in the corner, he shut the door quickly, but the hooded man wasn't having any of it. He shoots his way through. One of his errant bullets catches the guard. They got in, stored the dispensary safe, and ran out as quickly as they went. Police were able to identify the three robbers. 62-year-old Rodney Robinson, 63-year-old Laver Parkins, and 48-year-old Rodney Graham made up the crew. Good news, the security guard survived. The Ojai earthquake, California, US. In August, California experienced an earthquake measuring a magnitude of 5.1. The video shows the impact of the earthquake as it hits California. The earth shook visibly and the sound of the destructive powers of the earthquake could be heard. The video captured from the door cam of a home in Oxnard shows the earthquake's impact clearly. Cars, bins, and the asphalt itself shook heavily. Here's the impact felt inside a restaurant with everything rattling noisily and people grabbing onto any solid surface for safety.
Gang of Chicago carjackers forced driver out of his car at gunpoint.
One carjacker is scary enough, but multiple cars full of them are terrifying. Well, that's just what happened in Chicago when a 27-year-old victim found themselves trapped by two cars full of thieves. Fortunately, CCTV captured the entire incident on camera. The driver starts off parked as two cars approach him from the other side of the street to pin him in. Before the driver can react, at least 3 people get out of the cars and hold him at gunpoint. Though he tries to argue, the men force him from the vehicle and leave him lying in the middle of the road with his hands tied behind his back. To make matters even worse, other cars simply continue to drive by as the terrifying situation unfolds.
How? How could you just drive by if you saw a man lying on the floor with his hands tied? I wouldn't be able to. But this is the world we live in. Not my business not getting involved when someone could be murdered right there because of it. I don't get it to this day how we have this thought process.
Here's hoping the police are able to use this footage to capture the perpetrators.
The father of 3, Norton, England. On the 8th of June of 2023, 30-year-old Aaron Dunlop spent over 3 hours drinking pint after pint of God knows what at the George and Dragon pub in Norton. He'd arrived at the pub in an Audi at 6:30 p.m., and while he'd left temporarily at some point, he was back at it, drinking again until 9:30 p.m. With that large amount of alcohol in his system, Aaron got into the driver's seat of his Audi and drove off along A1027 in Norton Teesside at a very high speed. At that same hour, Paul Greenfield, a hard-working father of 3, was heading home from work in his Honda 125 motorbike on the same road as drunk Aaron. What happened next is inevitable. Aaron hit Paul's bike and knocked the older man to his death. Did he stop to help? No. He sped off and headed to the airport immediately, hoping to escape the long arm of the law. He was caught, charged, and sentenced to 12 years in prison.
Which he rightfully deserves to be sentenced to 12. He should be sentenced to life in prison, in fairness, but law gets to decide that's not the case. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you thought of this reaction video in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.